I welcome you all for Standard 6th subject General Science. Students, today we will be starting with chapter number 12, Simple Machines. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. So before starting with the chapter, let us see what are the learning objectives. So students, in this chapter you all will be learning about machines and the advantages of machines. Then the different types of machines such as simple machines and complex machines. Then you will be understanding about simple machine and the types of simple machine as inclined plane, a wedge, a lever, a pulley, a wheel and axle. And also you all will be understanding about complex machines and how to maintain the machines, that is the maintenance of machines. Now students, observe the pictures. Certain devices are used to accomplish certain tasks more easily. Name the devices and discuss how they help. Yes, correct. The devices shown in the picture are needle. Now a needle helps us to stitch clothes. Then the second picture is wheelbarrow. A wheelbarrow helps us to move objects, for example sand, easily from one point to the another point. Then the next image picture is bottle opener. A bottle opener helps to remove the tightly fitted metal caps of a bottle with ease. Then the fourth picture is nail cutter. A nail cutter is a simple device used to cut nails with minimum effort. Then fifth one is pulley. A pulley is a simple machine used to lift weights with ease and convenience. And the next is axe. An axe is used for cutting wood. Now students, what are machines? Tools or devices which are used to complete a task in less time and less effort are called machines. For example, screwdriver and motorbike. Now what are the advantages of using a machine? So students, the advantages of using a machine are faster work. A machine requires less time to complete a task as compared to manual work. Then accurate work. The work done by a machine is more accurate than the work done manually. Then the third advantage is heavy and delicate work. Tasks which are too heavy or too delicate for human muscles can be easily done with the help of machines. And the fourth advantage is repetition of work. A machine can perform the same task again and again with same accuracy every time. Now students, let's understand the types of machines. Machines are of two types, that is simple machines and complex machines. Simple machines are further classified as inclined plane, wedge, lever. And students, the orders of lever are determined by the position of the effort, fulcrum and the load as the first order lever, second order lever and the third order lever. And the simple machine is also a pulley and wheel and axle. Now students, what are simple machines? Machines which have only one or two parts and an easy and simple structure are called simple machines. Simple machines can be handled easily and there are less chances of these machines breaking down or getting damaged. Simple machines are of the following types, that is inclined plane, a wedge, a lever, a pulley, a wheel and axle. Now let's learn about the types of simple machines. So the first type is inclined plane, a slanting plank used to lift objects with ease. That means easily is called an inclined plane. The more gradual the slope, the easier is the weight required in lifting an object. Such an inclined plane is usually long in length. Plank used for loading the truck, ramp at railway station are the examples of inclined plane. Now students, in the past, the Greek scientist Archimedes invented the machine. That is why it is called the Archimedes screw. It was used to lift water from the hold of a ship. Archimedes used a round pipe fitted with rod inside it. The pipe was placed at an angle of 45 degrees with one end inside the water and the rod resting on a flat surface. When the rod was turned, water got lifted in this device. Now the next simple machine is a wedge. A sharp tool formed on joining two inclined planes is called a wedge. A wedge has one pointed end and one thicker end. It is used to split two objects stuck together or to break an object into two pieces. For example, axe, knife, stopper are the examples of a wedge. Now students, use your brain power and try to answer this question. A needle is required for stitching cloth. We use a knife for cutting fruit. If the tip of a needle or the edge of a knife becomes blunt, then the needle does not penetrate the cloth and the knife does not cut into the fruit. Why is this so? Now students, before answering, what do you mean by blunt? Correct. Blunt means not having a sharp edge or point. Now the answer for this question, yes, a needle and knife both are examples of wedge. A wedge has one pointed end and one thicker end. A needle is used for stitching clothes because it has a sharp pointed tip which can penetrate easily into the cloth. Also, the knife has a sharp edge which can cut the fruit with minimum effort. And if the tip of a needle or the edge of a knife becomes blunt, then the effort required to use these tools increases. As a result, penetration of needle and knife into objects become difficult. Now the next simple machine is a lever. Now what is a lever? A rigid rod which moves around a fixed point is called a lever. A lever is generally used to lift a load, but it can also be used for cutting, picking up objects, etc. A lever has three parts, that is fulcrum, load and effort. Now let's understand what is fulcrum, load and effort. Now students, what is fulcrum? The support at which the rod of a lever is rested is called the fulcrum of a lever. The lever rotates about the fulcrum. Now next, what is load? The weight lifted by a lever or the force against which the lever acts is called the load. The arm of the lever from the fulcrum to the load is called the load arm. And the third one is effort. The force applied on the other end of the rod to lift the load is called the effort. And the arm of the lever from the fulcrum to the effort is called the effort arm. Now students, depending upon the positions of the effort, the fulcrum and the load, there are three types of lever. So the three types of lever are first order lever, second order lever, and the third order lever. Students, now let's understand the lever of first order. Now, lever of first order is a type of lever which has fulcrum in between the load and the effort. Its order is represented as load, fulcrum, and effort. This is the most basic type of lever. For example, crowbar, our hand pushing an object, or seesaw. Then using scissors represent the use of first order lever. A wheel and axle is also an example of first order lever. Then pulling a nail out of a wooden plank also represent first order lever. Now the lever of second order. In this order, the fulcrum is at one end and the force applied, that is the effort, is on the other end. The load is situated in the middle of these two. So the order of this second order lever will be fulcrum, load, effort. The application of force at one end will result in some work done on the other end. For example, nutcracker, then wheelbarrow, staplers, doors or gates, bottle openers, nail clippers, etc. Now students, what is lever of third order? Now lever of third order are the levers in which the fulcrum is at one end and the effort is in the middle and the load is on the other end. That means effort is in between the fulcrum and the load. The order is represented as a fulcrum, effort, load. In this case, we have to apply more energy to displace the weight, that is the load, to a longer distance. For example, human forearm, fishing rod, a broom, a baseball bat, a bow and arrow, human jaw. Now the next simple machine is a pulley. A simple machine consisting of a grooved wheel and a thread is called a pulley. Now, pulley is used to lift a load in the upward direction by applying a force in the downward direction. This makes the process of lifting easy and convenient. For example, pulley used to draw water from a well. Now students, let's learn about a wheel and axle. It is a simple machine consisting of two parts, namely wheel and an axle, that is rod, which are joined together. When the axle is rotated, the wheel connected to it also rotates. And the large objects can be moved over long distances with less force by using a wheel and axle. For example, merry-go-round and roller skates. Now students, can you tell by observing the pictures for what purposes are they used? Can you name other machines of this kind? The machines shown in the picture are, the first image is of mixer. A mixer is used to grind food material like peanuts, almonds, fruits, etc. And the second picture is of scooter. A scooter is a vehicle used for traveling. Third picture is of bicycle. A bicycle is used for traveling and it also serves as a means to exercise. And the fourth picture is of sewing machine. Sewing machine is used to stitch clothes easily and comfortably. It requires less time as compared to manual stitching. And the fifth picture is of wheelchair. A wheelchair is used by people who have difficulty in walking to travel from one place to another. And yes, The other machines are hand drill, typewriter, ice smasher machine, etc. Now let's learn about complex machines. Now what are complex machines? Machines which have many parts joined together are called complex machines. These parts carry out many processes for completing a task. And complex machines consist of two or more simple machines joined together. These machines have complicated structure. An example of complex machine are hand drill, ice smasher machine, etc. Students, now let's understand how we can maintain a machine. That means we will understand now maintenance of machines. Now machine has many moving parts which rub against one another when they are used. Soil and dusty parts create friction which results in wear and tear of the parts of machine. Now students, what do you mean by wear and tear? It is the damage that happens to an object in ordinary use during a period. And also few parts get rusted and erode due to weather. Thus, to avoid the machines from getting damaged, taking care of machines is very important. Machines can be maintained in proper working conditions by cleaning all the parts from time to time, then reducing friction between parts by means of an oil or a lubricant, then painting the parts which would be affected by the weather. This helps to prevent rusting and erosion of the parts, and also by covering the machines when they are not in use to prevent dust settling on them, and keeping the machine always dry. So students, this was the end of the chapter. Now let us summarize what we have learned. So we learned that tools or devices which are used to complete a task in less time and less effort are called machines. Machines which have only one or two parts and an easy and simple structure are called simple machines. And simple machines are of the following types, that is inclined plane, a wedge, a lever, a pulley, a wheel and axle. A slanting plank used to lift objects with ease is called an inclined plane. A sharp tool formed on joining two inclined planes is called a wedge. A rigid rod which moves around a fixed point is called a lever. A lever has three parts, that is fulcrum, load and effort. Then we studied about fulcrum, that what is fulcrum? The support at which the rod of a lever is rested is called the fulcrum of a lever. The lever rotates about the fulcrum. Then we also studied about load, the weight lifted by a lever or the force against which the lever acts is called the load. The arm of the lever from the fulcrum to the load is called the load arm. Then we studied about effort, the force applied on the other end of the rod to lift the load is called the effort. The arm of the lever from the fulcrum to the effort is called the effort arm. And we studied about the first order lever. In the first order lever, fulcrum is in between the load and the effort, and in second order lever, load is in between the fulcrum and the effort, and in the third order lever, effort is in between the fulcrum and the load. Then we also studied about pulley, a simple machine consisting of a grooved wheel and a thread is called a pulley. Large objects can be moved over long distances with less force by using a wheel and axle. Then we studied about complex machines, that is machines which have many parts joined together are called complex machines, and machines should be maintained properly to keep them in good working condition. Thank you, dear students.